How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Lord Ingram's comments on Fox News relating to immigration, both legal and illegal, and how the demographics change that come as a result impact the country in a negative way. And it was not just her. I think also Tucker Carlson said something about it. Now, the backlash from what she said and also Tucker has been tremendous. People talking about, oh, Fox News, they're white supremacists, or they have white supremacists, white nationalist talking points, all kind of crazy stuff. What I'm going to do right now is go ahead and roll the clip. And in this clip, you'll see her comments, and you'll also see a response from CNN. Yes, CNN, I'm not citing them as a news source here, but you got to see what they said, because it was really just over the top, even for them. After we get done with the clip, I'll talk about what was said in the clip, and then I'll talk about my humble opinion about this whole situation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Because in some parts of the country, it does seem like the America that we know and love doesn't exist anymore. Massive demographic changes have been foisted upon the American people. And they're changes that none of us ever voted for, and most of us don't like. From Virginia to California, we see stark examples of how radically, in some ways, the country has changed. Now, much of this is related to both illegal and, in some cases, legal immigration that, of course, progressives love. Remember the old Democrats, maybe some of them that Ocasio-Cortez is referring to, they used to think that borders mattered. But the new activists believe enforcing immigration laws is essentially an ongoing human rights violation. Of course, they want to abolish ICE and so forth.
She explicitly cites both illegal and legal immigration.
There is something slipping away in this country, and it's not about race or ethnicity.
Not about race? Critics scoffed at that claim. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth said the racist comments shouldn't have been aired by Fox News.
What they are doing really consistently is promoting ideas that derive from white nationalist places.
Okay, so you see what's going on here. You heard what's happening. Now, this is really crazy, because how can you say that not wanting the country to fundamentally change from what it is, how can you say that is a form of white nationalism? Let's not act like the only people who do not want crazy demographics change are white. Just because you see Laura Ingraham or Tucker Carlson or somebody else that's white talk about it does not mean that their opinion is only shared by white people. It doesn't mean that. A lot of people who are immigrants don't want the crazy immigration that we have right now. People that come from Latin America don't want all the Latin American legal immigration and illegal immigration. The key point here is the quality of person that we're getting. Who is coming to America, and how are they going to change the actual society in which we live? We see the effect of just unregulated, free-flowing immigration right now in Europe. They call it the refugee crisis, the migration crisis. Places like Sweden, which many people on the left point to as some kind of socialist paradise, is now considered the rape capital of the world. Why? It's not because of the Swedes just all of a sudden overnight became tremendous rapists. No, it's because of the immigration, quote unquote, from the third world. The demographics change. It's not about the race people that come from these places. It's about the kind of attitude that they bring to a place. All right. They have their culture, their customs, all of that, and they're bringing it here. They don't really care about the native people of the particular place. They care about their own people. So it's nothing to go out and rape some Swedish girl or beat her in the head, kill her, throw a grenade into a police station, because it's not their people. They could do whatever they want. They come from these violent types of places. You're not getting the best people from these places. And that's part of what Donald Trump was saying about the whole rapists or whatever. He was saying that Mexico is not sending us their best people. They're not sending us their doctors, lawyers, chemists, etc. They're sending us their trash, and we have to deal with it. And that is the whole demographic shift problem. Prime example of how this is not just a white thing, because, you know, they're trying to frame it as, oh, they're just talking about white nationalist talking points. No, it's not just about that. Look at California and Compton. Compton used to be almost 100% black. Now it's almost 100% Hispanic. If you are a black person and you live in Southern California still, Los Angeles or wherever, and you're trying to get a job, good luck if you don't speak Spanish. How is that fair to a person that's been here, maybe even since slavery, right? The country's language is English, but since you don't speak Spanish, you're out of a job. See, that is a demographics shift right there. Even those who have come to the country legally from south of the border, Mexico, Guatemala, etc., they don't want the unregulated immigration from their country of origin because they know the kind of people that live there. That's why they left, or part of the reason why they left, right? Their country was not doing a good job in providing a safe, secure, happy, and prosperous environment for them, so they left. Now, some of these same people that made their country untenable to live have now followed them to their new place. So they don't want that either. All right. Go to places like Northern Virginia. You have Herndon and Sterling, which have the new nicknames of Honduras and El Salvador because of all the people that come from Honduras and El Salvador in these places. All right. Now, there are a lot of immigrants that come from these countries that live there who do not want their particular place to become just like what they left, because you have a lot of good people that live there, but you also have the gangbangers and whatnot that come to the place and bring the same level of violence and crime that they escaped, right? People that live in San Francisco, for example, that come from third world countries, they're not like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I did not sign up to have this place become a drug infested, illegal alien safe space. All right. If I wanted that, I would have just stayed in Iran or somewhere like that. Iran may have been safer. You got the Taliban, ISIS, or whatever. You got heroin right there. I might as well have just stayed there rather than coming here, because the demographics change. The unfettered illegal immigration, legal immigration is causing too much. And back to the whole legal immigration part. You got guys like Chris Cuomo on CNN crying, talking about, oh, my family wouldn't been able to be here if Trump had his way. Look, I know what Laura Ingraham was referring to, and I also know what Trump is referring to when he talks about cracking down on legal immigration. Let's talk about all these visas, H-1Bs, H-2Bs, people coming over here undercutting American citizens for jobs. Now, some people would say, oh, they're coming over here and doing jobs that Americans won't want. Is that so? You know, I talk to people that have come here on visas who said that they were taken advantage of, quite honestly, because they come over here not to do what Barack Obama said, which is fruit picking and bed making. They come over here to do word processing, low level engineer work, things that Americans want to do that we go to college, spend a bunch of money to do, but we get undercut by those who come from other countries. You got places in San Francisco Bay Area where you have these new buildings that are being built, these so-called apartments, whatever you want to label them as, dorms. You got 10 people that come from the Indian subcontinent living in one place together. That kind of seems like the Chinese factories, Foxconn, Tencent, or whatever. They have dormitories with nets on them so people don't commit suicide. You got that kind of stuff going on right here in the US of A. It's because of the demographics switch, right? And with the demographic switch, it's not just about race. It's about the kind of culture that these people bring. If you live in a place that is largely conservative, it's controlled by conservatives, people enjoy their way of life, all of a sudden you have the influx of people that come from the third world who want to vote liberal because those are the people who brought them there. All of a sudden, your nice, peaceful town becomes something different. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Probably was a nice suburb of Detroit. Everything was pretty much peachy keen. All of a sudden, you got a bunch of people that come from the Islamic world coming into your place. Now, the entire town has changed. You got prayer 5 times a day, blaring out of a loudspeaker. You have crimes that are often seen in the third world in an Islamic country happening right here in the US of A. Do you want that for your particular place? It's not even about race, because some people that come from these countries also don't want the demographics to switch. They are happy with the way things are going right now. If you put a bunch of people that come from Somalia into Sweden, will it stay Sweden or will it become Somalia? At a certain point, the people of a place make the place what it is. Right or wrong, for better or for worse, whatever the reason may be, it is what it is. That's just the reality of it. So people talking about white nationalism, racism, all this, that, and the third need to just pump their brakes and open their eyes. Van Jones, Chris Cuomo, Brian Stelter, all these talking heads crying on CNN about racism. Do you want to go to the third world and live there? Okay. You want them to be allowed to come over here and basically invade a community, but you don't want to go over there and live with them. Or matter of fact, how about this? How about a more realistic option? Do you want your particular gated community that's 80, 90, 100% white to all of a sudden become like Baghdad? Is that what you want? Because it's not just about the race of people. That's not even really the point. It's the kind of culture that they bring. If people were to come here and assimilate, become Americans, it doesn't matter what color they are, what country they come from, that's all good. But in the case of Compton, California, when they come to a place, basically firebomb some blacks, not all, but some Hispanics are gang members. They come and they attack blacks to get them out of an area. And after a certain period of time, it becomes all Hispanic, and those who are left that are black are struggling to find a job because they are not bilingual. Is that fair to the black population? Wouldn't a black person have a grievance in that situation the same way that a white person would? If a white person does not speak Spanish and they live in Southern California and they can't get a job because they're not bilingual, this thing is not color specific. It's not race specific. It's about changing the culture of the place in which you live. So that was on my chest. I wanted to get it off. What do you think? Do you think that arguing about demographics change is not a racist talking point? It's about just wanting to preserve the culture of where you live, the language, the customs, the general way of life. If you live in a peaceful community, you're able to go outside and fish and just enjoy life as an American. All of a sudden, here comes an influx of people that come from third world, Islamville, Islamstan. Now, all of a sudden, you got prayer 5 times a day. Now, all of a sudden, people are protesting outside of a butcher because, they're selling pork and they don't want them to do that. Now, all of a sudden, if you have a beach town, you got people coming in the trash bag, beekeeper outfit down to the beach. Your kids are asking questions. When you go to school, you got teachers that are teaching you kids about Islam, having them pray on mats. I'm not exaggerating. Look at Europe. Europe is the future of the U.S. if we don't crack down on the demographic switch, right? The race is aside from the culture that certain people bring. So I absolutely do think that immigration should be checked for sure. If you come into the country, you need to pass a test about, are you going to assimilate? Are you going to be an American, or do you want to retain the values of your country of origin? That should be part of your conditions for becoming an American citizen. And if you violate that, you should be sent back. I truly believe that. Many immigrants, I will almost go as far as say most immigrants that come legally take being an American seriously, but there are some who do not, especially those who come illegally. If you come illegally, you're already breaking the law. You're already just doing whatever you want to do. It's more likely that you're going to come here and not take being an American seriously. That's pretty much all I got. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.